For me, I think corruption is a problem as it relates to, you know, how it affects persons' chances of accessing, I guess you can say, certain public goods. For example, someone might want a job, someone might have gone to school, studied hard, and applied for a job, let's say in the civil service or whatever the case may be. And the fact that you have a politician who, or someone who is underqualified, but who's friends with a politician, that person might get the job above the person who's qualified, who's gone through the system and has worked so hard. And actually, earlier this week in the paper, you had one of the chief labor unionists speaking to the fact that we need to move away from the system in the Caribbean and in Barbados, especially where you get a job based on who you know instead of your credentials. So in other words, we have to have a system which is meritocratic. You know, and the whole issue of, for example, I think the economic crisis has also brought the whole issue of corruption into the limelight more, because now you have scarce resources to do different projects and so on. And you know, the fact that you might have, let's say for example, you might have you know, politicians favoring you know, someone for contract, or because a certain political party gets funded because of, you know, who they know, and then in terms of bringing persons to justice, persons aren't brought to justice because of who they know in the political system or whatever. Well, the ordinary man now gets, you know, as soon as he does something, he's thrown in jail, and the bail is set at whatever amount. So I think, you know, more and more people are recognizing that the whole issue of corruption, integrity, transparency, accountability, you know, as it affects them, in terms of having a better quality of life, that is an issue which needs to be addressed, and hopefully be, as you know, young persons and as members of civil society, will put more pressure on our politicians in terms of integrity legislation and so on, and make them accountable, while on the same hand within our organizations and institutions practicing having transparent and you know, practices which show that we are towing the line just as we want them to toe the line.